Marcus Thompson was a healthy 67-year-old retired math teacher who never missed his evening walks. But on March 15th, exactly 30 minutes after finishing his usual dinner, he collapsed on his kitchen floor, gasping for air. What Marcus didn't know was that he had just made one of the 6 deadly mistakes that send over 847,000 seniors to emergency rooms every year. The scariest part? Mistake number 4 has become so common that doctors are calling it the silent senior killer. If you're over 60, the next 12 minutes could literally save your life, because what you do after dinner might be more dangerous than what you eat for dinner. Marcus had been a beloved high school math teacher in Phoenix for 35 years. He thought retirement would be his golden years, more time with his 3 grandchildren, his vegetable garden, and evening walks with his wife Sarah. He ate healthy meals, took his medications on time, and felt stronger than most men his age. But Marcus had no idea that his post-dinner routine was a ticking time bomb. Here's what most seniors don't realize. Medical research from Johns Hopkins shows that the 2 hours after dinner are statistically the most dangerous time of day for people over 60. Your body undergoes dramatic changes during digestion that can trigger heart attacks, strokes, and fatal accidents. These aren't rare occurrences, they're happening in your neighborhood right now. The 6 mistakes I'm about to share have robbed countless families of precious time with their loved ones. But here's the good news. Every single one is completely preventable once you know what to avoid. Have you ever wondered why you feel different after dinner than you did in your younger years? Drop a comment below and let me know if any of these evening habits sound familiar, because awareness is the first step to adding years to your life. Deadly mistake number 1. Going to bed immediately after eating. The first deadly mistake that nearly killed Marcus was something he'd been doing for decades without a second thought. But at 60 and beyond, this innocent habit becomes a silent assassin. Let me tell you about Marianne Wilson, a vibrant 72-year-old grandmother from Seattle. Every night after dinner, Marianne would feel drowsy and head straight to bed around 8 p.m. She thought she was being healthy by getting plenty of sleep. But one night, Marianne woke up choking, unable to breathe. Her husband rushed her to the hospital where doctors discovered she had developed aspiration pneumonia. Stomach acid had travelled up her esophagus and into her lungs while she slept. Here's the terrifying science behind what happens when seniors lie down too soon after eating. As we age, our digestive system slows down significantly. When you lie flat within 2 hours of eating, gravity can't help keep food and acid in your stomach where they belong. Instead, they travel backward up your esophagus, a condition called gastroesophageal reflux. But for seniors, this isn't just uncomfortable heartburn. The weakened muscles in your throat may not protect your airway effectively, allowing acid to enter your lungs. This can cause aspiration pneumonia, which has a mortality rate of up to 50% in adults over 65. Even worse, lying down after eating increases your risk of stroke by 23% because it affects blood flow to your brain during the critical digestion period. The solution is surprisingly simple but absolutely crucial. Wait at least 3 hours after your last bite before lying down. Instead of heading to bed, try these safe alternatives. Sit in a comfortable chair and read, do gentle stretching exercises, or organize tomorrow's activities. If you must rest, prop yourself up with pillows at a 45-degree angle. Transform your bedroom setup too. Elevate the head of your bed by 6 to 8 inches using bed risers, and keep antacids nearby just in case. Marianne made these changes and hasn't had a single episode in 2 years. What's your current routine after dinner? Are you making this potentially fatal mistake? Let me know in the comments. Your answer might help save someone else's life. Deadly mistake number 2. Intense exercise right after dinner. The second mistake almost cost Carlos Mendez his life, and it's something many health-conscious seniors do, thinking they're being responsible. Carlos was a 65-year-old retired firefighter from Miami who believed in staying active. Every evening after dinner, he'd lace up his sneakers for a brisk 45-minute walk around his neighbourhood. "I'm fighting off diabetes and keeping my heart strong," he'd tell his wife Rosa. But Carlos didn't know that his evening exercise routine was actually putting tremendous strain on his aging cardiovascular system. On a humid Tuesday evening, exactly 20 minutes after finishing his grilled chicken and vegetables, Carlos set out for his usual walk. Within 10 minutes, he felt dizzy and nauseous. By minute 15, crushing chest pain brought him to his knees on the sidewalk. A neighbour called 911, and Carlos spent the next 3 days in cardiac intensive care. Here's what happens inside your body when you exercise too soon after eating, especially after age 60. During digestion, your body redirects 25 to 30% of your blood flow to your stomach and intestines. When you suddenly demand that same blood for your muscles during exercise, your heart has to work dramatically harder to pump blood to both systems simultaneously. For seniors whose hearts may already be working at 70 to 80% capacity, this double demand can trigger dangerous arrhythmias, blood pressure spikes, or even heart attacks. Your digestive system also suffers. Food sits undigested, causing cramping, bloating, and potentially dangerous acid reflux during physical activity. The medical recommendation is clear. Wait 90 minutes to 2 hours after eating before any moderate exercise, and 3 hours before vigorous activity. But this doesn't mean you have to be sedentary after dinner. Safe alternatives include gentle stretching while seated, slow walking indoors for 5 to 10 minutes, light housework like organizing or folding laundry, or practicing deep breathing exercises. These activities aid digestion without stressing your cardiovascular system. Carlos now waits 2 hours after dinner, then enjoys a peaceful evening walk. His doctor says his heart function has actually improved because he's no longer stressing it during vulnerable periods. Warning signs to watch for dizziness, nausea, chest tightness, shortness of breath, or unusual fatigue during post-meal activity. If you experience any of these, stop immediately and consult your doctor. Are you exercising too soon after dinner? Share your evening routine below. We can learn from each other's experiences and potentially save lives. Deadly mistake number 3. Hot showers or baths after dinner. Grace Chen, a 69-year-old retired nurse from Boston, thought she had the perfect evening routine. After dinner, she'd run a hot bath with lavender oils to relax before bed. Grace believed this helped her digestion and prepared her for a good night's sleep. She had no idea this soothing ritual was actually a deadly trap waiting to spring. On a cold February evening, Grace finished her usual dinner of soup and sandwich, then headed straight to her bathroom for her nightly hot bath. The water was perfect, nearly 104 degrees, just how she liked it. But within minutes of settling into the tub, Grace felt lightheaded. The bathroom seemed to spin, and before she could call for help, she fainted, slipping under the water. Fortunately, her daughter was visiting and heard the splash. Grace was unconscious for nearly 2 minutes before being revived. The emergency room doctor told her she was lucky to be alive. She had experienced severe vasodilation combined with post-meal blood pressure changes that caused her to lose consciousness in a potentially fatal situation. Here's the dangerous science. When you eat, your body increases blood flow to your digestive organs. Simultaneously, hot water causes vasodilation. Your blood vessels expand, dropping your blood pressure. For seniors whose blood pressure regulation is already compromised, this double effect can cause a dangerous drop in blood pressure, leading to fainting, falls, or even cardiac events. The risk increases dramatically after age 60 because our bodies lose the ability to quickly adjust blood pressure when conditions change. What felt refreshing at 40 can be life-threatening at 70. Additional dangers include increased risk of drowning if you faint in water, severe burns if you fall against hot surfaces, and hip fractures from bathroom falls, which have a 20% mortality rate in seniors. The safe approach: wait at least 2 hours after eating before taking a hot shower or bath. When you do bathe, keep water temperature below 100 degrees Fahrenheit, limit hot baths to 15 minutes maximum, and never bathe alone if you're over 65. Smart safety modifications: install grab bars in your shower and tub, use a shower chair to prevent falls, keep the bathroom door unlocked, and tell someone when you're bathing. Consider a bath thermometer to monitor water temperature accurately. Grace now enjoys warm, not hot baths 3 hours after dinner and has installed safety equipment throughout her bathroom. She says she actually feels more relaxed knowing she's being safe. What's your bathing routine after dinner? Have you ever felt dizzy or lightheaded in a hot shower? Share your experience below. Your story could prevent someone else's accident. Deadly mistake number 4. Avoid at all costs. Alcohol with medications after dinner. This is the mistake that sends more seniors to the ICU than all the others combined. And it's happening in homes across America every single night. What makes this so deadly is that it seems completely harmless, even sophisticated. Samuel Patterson was a 71-year-old retired bank executive from Denver who prided himself on his evening routine. After a healthy dinner, he'd enjoy a glass of red wine while reading financial reports. A habit he'd maintained for decades. Samuel took his medications religiously: blood pressure pills, a blood thinner, and medication for his enlarged prostate. He thought the wine helped him relax and was good for his heart. He had no idea he was creating a lethal cocktail inside his body. On October 12th, Samuel's wife found him unconscious on his study floor, the wine glass shattered beside him. His breathing was dangerously shallow, his heart rate had dropped to 35 beats per minute, and he was unresponsive. The paramedics rushed him to intensive care, where he remained in critical condition for 6 days. The doctor's explanation was terrifying. The combination of Samuel's evening medications with alcohol had created a compound sedation effect that nearly shut down his central nervous system. His blood pressure had dropped to stroke levels and his blood had become dangerously thin, causing internal bleeding. Here's why this is so deadly for seniors. After age 60, your liver processes alcohol 50% slower, meaning it stays in your system much longer. Simultaneously, most senior medications are processed by the same liver enzymes. When alcohol blocks these enzymes, medication levels build up to toxic concentrations in your bloodstream. The most dangerous combinations include blood thinners, which carry the risk of fatal bleeding; blood pressure medications, which can cause stroke-level drops; sleep aids or anxiety medications, which can stop breathing; diabetes medications, which can cause dangerous blood sugar crashes; and pain medications, which can cause liver failure. Even worse, the one-glass rule doesn't apply to seniors. Research shows that after 65, even small amounts of alcohol can trigger dangerous interactions, especially within 4 hours of taking medications. Warning signs of alcohol medication poisoning include unusual drowsiness, confusion, difficulty breathing, irregular heartbeat, severe dizziness, or loss of coordination. If you experience any of these after drinking, call 911 immediately. The only safe approach: if you take any daily medications, avoid alcohol completely for at least 4 hours after taking them. Safe evening alternatives include herbal teas, sparkling water with fruit, mocktails, or warm milk with honey. Samuel now enjoys alcohol-free evenings and says he actually sleeps better and feels more alert. His cardiologist told him this change probably added years to his life. This could be happening to someone you love right now. Are you or a family member mixing alcohol with medications? Please share this information. It could literally save a life. Deadly mistake number 5. Exposure to smoke after eating. Rita Gonzalez, a 68-year-old retired librarian from Portland, thought she was living a healthy lifestyle. She'd never smoked a cigarette in her life and ate nutritious meals every day. But you know, Rita's evening routine included something that nearly killed her, and she didn't even realize she was doing it. Every night after dinner, Rita would sit on her back porch with a cup of herbal tea, enjoying the sunset. What she didn't account for was her neighbor's habit of smoking cigarettes on his adjacent patio. The evening air would carry the smoke directly to Rita's porch, where she'd unknowingly breathe it in for 30 to 45 minutes every night. On a calm September evening, about 20 minutes after finishing her salmon dinner, Rita stepped onto her porch just as her neighbor lit up his usual cigarette. Within minutes, she felt her chest tighten and her breathing become labored. By the time she tried to go back inside, she was gasping for air and felt crushing pressure in her chest. Her daughter rushed her to the emergency room, where doctors discovered she was having a severe respiratory crisis triggered by second-hand smoke exposure during digestion. The medical explanation shocked Rita's family. When you're digesting food, especially after age 60, your body's oxygen demands increase significantly. Your respiratory system is already working harder to support the digestive process. Adding smoke exposure during this critical period can overwhelm your lungs' capacity, especially if you have any underlying respiratory conditions. For seniors, the risks multiply dangerously. Reduced lung capacity means less oxygen reserve, compromised immune systems can't fight off smoke-related inflammation, existing conditions like COPD or heart disease become severely aggravated, and the combination can trigger asthma attacks, heart arrhythmias, or even heart attacks. Even if you don't smoke, secondhand smoke after eating poses serious risks. It reduces oxygen in your blood just when your digestive system needs it most, increases inflammation in your airways and cardiovascular system, and can trigger dangerous blood pressure spikes in seniors with heart conditions. The timing makes it worse. Evening air is often stagnant, meaning smoke concentrates and lingers. Your body's natural defenses are also weaker in the evening, making you more susceptible to smoke's harmful effects. Protection strategies: avoid any smoke exposure for 2 hours after eating. Keep windows closed if neighbors smoke outside. Use air purifiers in your main living areas and create smoke-free zones around your home. If you live in an apartment, speak to management about smoking policies. Rita now checks the air quality before going outside and has installed HEPA filters throughout her home. She's also worked with her neighbor to establish smoke-free times when she's on her porch. Her breathing has improved dramatically, and she hasn't had another episode. Are you unknowingly exposing yourself to smoke after meals? Even outdoor dining areas or walking past smokers can be dangerous. Share your experience below. Awareness can help protect our entire community. Deadly mistake number 6. Large amounts of cold foods or drinks after dinner. Arthur Kowalski, a 74-year-old retired mechanic from Chicago, had what he called his perfect ending to every dinner: a large bowl of his favorite mint chocolate chip ice cream while watching the evening news. For Arthur, this wasn't just dessert, it was a cherished ritual that reminded him of childhood summers. But this innocent pleasure was slowly becoming a deadly habit that would eventually land him in the cardiac unit. On a muggy July evening, Arthur had just finished a hearty dinner of pot roast and vegetables. As usual, he served himself a generous bowl of ice cream straight from the freezer and settled into his recliner. About halfway through the bowl, Arthur felt a strange sensation in his chest. Not quite pain, but an uncomfortable pressure. Within minutes, the pressure became crushing chest pain that radiated down his left arm. His wife called 911, and Arthur spent the next 48 hours in intensive care. The cardiologist's explanation stunned Arthur's family. The extreme temperature difference between his warm meal and the ice-cold dessert had triggered a dangerous vagus nerve response that caused his heart rhythm to become dangerously irregular. Combined with his age-related changes, this temperature shock had nearly caused a fatal cardiac event. Here's the hidden science. As we age, our vagus nerve becomes hypersensitive to sudden temperature changes. This nerve controls your heart rate, blood pressure, and digestion. When you consume very cold foods or drinks immediately after a warm meal, it can trigger what doctors call vagal stimulation, a sudden drop in heart rate and blood pressure that can be life-threatening in seniors. The risks increase dramatically after 60 because your heart's electrical system becomes more sensitive to disruption, blood vessels don't adapt as quickly to temperature changes, and your digestive system is already working hard, making additional stress potentially overwhelming. Cold-induced complications include cardiac arrhythmias that can be fatal, sudden blood pressure drops causing fainting, digestive spasms that can mimic heart attacks, and increased risk of choking if you lose consciousness while eating. The temperature threshold, any food or drink below 40 degrees Fahrenheit, can trigger this response, especially within 2 hours of eating a warm meal. Ice cream, Frozen yogurt, ice-cold beverages, and even very cold salads can be dangerous. Safe alternatives. Let cold foods sit at room temperature for 10 to 15 minutes before eating. Sip cold drinks slowly rather than gulping. Choose room temperature desserts like cookies or cake, or enjoy frozen treats 3 hours after your main meal. If you must have something cold, take small amounts and let them warm in your mouth first. Arthur now enjoys his ice cream, but he waits 2 hours after dinner and lets it soften for 15 minutes first. He says it actually tastes better and he feels completely safe. His cardiologist confirmed his heart rhythm has been stable ever since. This might sound like a small thing, but small things can have big consequences after 60. Do you eat ice cream or drink very cold beverages right after dinner? Have you ever felt chest discomfort after cold foods? Let me know in the comments. Your experience could help others avoid this hidden danger. Six months after his terrifying collapse, Marcus Thompson is a completely different man. Gone are the dangerous evening habits that nearly cost him his life. Marcus now follows what he calls his life-extending evening routine. After dinner, Marcus waits 3 hours before lying down, spends his evening reading to his grandchildren or organising his workshop, and has replaced his post-meal ice cream with room-temperature herbal tea. He's stopped his immediate post-dinner walks, instead taking a gentle 20-minute stroll 2 hours after eating. The transformation is remarkable. Marcus's acid reflux has completely disappeared. He sleeps better than he has in years. His energy levels have increased dramatically, and his last cardiac checkup showed significant improvement in his heart function. Most importantly, he's gained something precious confidence that he's doing everything possible to stay healthy for his family. Marcus's wife, Sarah, says the change has been incredible. He's not just avoiding danger anymore, he's actually thriving. We have hope again for many more years together. His grandchildren have noticed too. Grandpa Marcus has more energy to play with them and seems happier overall. The doctor who treated Marcus's emergencies said these simple changes have likely added 8 to 10 healthy years to his life. Marcus now volunteers at the senior centre, sharing his story and helping other seniors avoid the same dangerous mistakes. He's living proof that it's never too late to change habits that could save your life. If this video opened your eyes to hidden dangers you didn't know existed, please hit that like button right now. It helps us reach more seniors who need this life-saving information. In the comments below, I want you to be honest. Which of these 6 deadly mistakes were you making? Don't be embarrassed. Awareness is the first step to staying safe. Also, tell me what changes you're going to make starting tonight. Please share this video with anyone you care about who's over 60. You might literally save someone's life by spreading this information. Subscribe and ring that notification bell.